All right, let's delve into this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a world just brimming with complex power struggles, um, unexpected alliances, and, yeah, a dizzying amount of personal sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
All of this comes from a really captivating collection of sources focusing on the story of the Wicked King.
That's right.
Our mission in this deep dive is to sort of peel back the layers of this fantastical realm, revealing how strategy, loyalty, and yes, even love really twist the fates of its characters.
It's fascinating.
You're in for some surprising insights into what it really means to hold power.
And what's truly compelling about this material is how it doesn't just, tell a story, but instead acts as almost a masterclass in the dynamics of control and influence.
Right.
We'll be tracing the journey of a mortal navigating this immortal land, constantly seeking leverage and grappling with the very unpredictable nature of those she tries to command.
So let's begin at the very root of Jude's journey to power. It's shaped profoundly by these brutal yet pragmatic lessons from her stepfather, Madoc.
Yeah, the formidable general.
Exactly, who effectively raised her in the treacherous Faerie courts. His philosophy on power is incredibly stark, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
What's the core of his teaching, and how does it immediately set Jude on such a distinct path?
Well, Madoc's instruction to Jude, pain makes you strong, and the emphasis on being strong enough to strike and strike and strike again without tiring isn't just about physical toughness, you see. It's a ruthless primer on the will required to dominate. He defines power as the ability to get what you want and, critically, the ability to be the one making the decisions.
Okay.
This foundational belief that we get power by taking it is pretty much a universal truth in any cutthroat environment, really.
Yeah.
It forces us to ask, are the most powerful always those most willing to seize, regardless of the ethical cost?
That's a crucial distinction, and it leads us directly to the next challenge, holding on to that power once you've acquired it.
Right.
Madoc even turned it into a game, didn't he? Instructing Jude and her twin, Taryn, to take a hill and then hold it against attack.
Yeah, I remember that.
But after Jude was knocked down, he delivered another pivotal lesson. Power is much easier to acquire than it is to hold on to. How does this idea immediately foreshadow the struggles Jude faces later on?
Well, that phrase, power is much easier to acquire than it is to hold on to, it becomes this constant echo throughout Jude's whole narrative. It highlights the inherent instability of any position gained through force or, manipulation. It's not enough to conquer. You have to constantly defend, adapt, and sometimes break your own rules.
Right, the constant vigilance.
Exactly. It really pushes you to consider the continuous, exhausting effort required to maintain any form of control.
And we see Jude internalize these lessons in direct contrast to her twin, Taryn.
Oh, definitely.
The sources tell us that while Jude possessed this ferocity and willingness to fight well, Taryn hated sparring.
Hated it. Her stances were perfect, technically.
But predictable, making it easy to lure her into a series of moves and then score a hit by breaking the pattern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which immediately sets up how profoundly different their approaches to this world become.
Yeah.
This contrast between the sisters is such a powerful narrative device. It reveals these two divergent paths in the face of adversity. Jude embraces the pragmatic, even ruthless lessons of power, recognizing that survival often demands a willingness to, fight dirty.
Oh, Taryn.
Taryn, meanwhile, seeks a more conventional, perhaps fairer approach, which ultimately leaves her vulnerable in a world that just doesn't play by those rules.
It's a stark look at how different personality traits interact with the demands of raw power.
It really is.
So fast forward a bit, and Jude finds herself in this truly unique position. She's the High King's seneschal.
Right, the power behind the throne.
Essentially ruling Elfhame, while the actual High King, Cardan, who is, let's face it, a reluctant and often dismissive monarch, just lounges on his throne. Our sources describe her as the de facto ruler, drowning in this info overload of military commitments, messages from vassals, demands from every corner of Elfhame written in as many languages.
It's overwhelming.
She's staying awake until the sun is high in the sky, trying my hardest to do just that. She's basically babysitting an entire kingdom.
And what stands out there is the immense burden of responsibility Jude's shoulders, especially for someone who, as she herself notes, was just doing homework a few months prior,
Right, yeah.
This isn't just about wielding power. It's about the relentless grinding work of managing an immense complex bureaucracy and all the endless details of governance.
It immediately challenges any initial perception that power is simply about taking what you want.
Exactly. It's a job that never sleeps.
And the burden of holding power is immediately evident in her relationship with Cardan, the very high king she's propping up.
Yeah, that dynamic is key.
He initially appears as a complete layabout, concerned primarily with enjoying the kisses, the bowing and scraping, and his wine.
The poots.
Jude notes his hatred for her, saying his dislike from school was a guttering candle to the steady flame of his hatred now. How does this initial portrayal of Cardan set up the dynamic of their relationship and Jude's perceived control?
Well, this early portrayal of Cardan is crucial because it sets him up as exactly what Jude wants him to be or thinks she needs him to be.
A figurehead.
A figurehead she can manipulate. It's a classic misdirection, really. You assume the lazy, resentful heir is easily controlled.
Right.
But the true lesson here is that outward appearances, especially in a power struggle, can be incredibly deceptive. Often, those who seem least threatening are the most strategically positioned.
That brings us to how Jude got him into this puppet role in the first place. She tricked him and bound him with specific commands.
Right, the conditions.
Our sources lay them out pretty clearly. He can never deny her an audience, never order her arrested or hurt, must meet daily for policy discussions, warn her of harm.
And pretend to enjoy being High King for a year and a day.
Exactly. Yet even with all that, Jude recognizes she felt the slippage in her control. What does this royal bind tell us about the nature of control, even when you think you've secured it?
This royal bind is the core of their early dynamic. It's a brilliant demonstration of trying to control through specific legalistic commands.
Like a contract.
Pretty much. Jude built this illusion of absolute power through this contract, but the slippage she feels is that inevitable crack in any attempt to fully subjugate another's will.
Especially someone like Cardan.
Especially when that other possesses their own inherent power or cunning. It raises a fascinating question. Can true power ever be completely delegated or controlled by proxy, or does the puppet always, eventually, find its own strings?
A good question. So as Jude navigates the Faerie court, she encounters this whole cast of characters with their own agendas. Each one is a potential threat or maybe a pawn. A key player who emerges is Grimson the Smith, the maker of the very blood crown on Cardan's head, who's been in exile for ages.
Right, the legendary craftsman.
He makes this cunning return, securing a forge and metal from Cardan, but his gaze is described as too self-satisfied, making Jude suspect a trick.
Always suspect a trick in Faerie.
He's also the one who created Nicasia's gauzy wings and Cardan's earring. What does Grimson's reemergence signify for the stability of this realm?
Well, Grimson's return isn't just a plot point. It's a classic demonstration of how exiled talent, especially talent with past grievances, remains this potent force of disruption.
A wild card.
Exactly. It reminds us that even when seemingly contained, unique skills and grudges can always be weaponized, challenging the most carefully constructed power structures. His ability to craft powerful magical objects makes him a crucial and potentially very dangerous wildcard.
Amidst these political maneuverings and personal vendettas, Jude also finds herself navigating ancient fairy magic, like with Mother Marrow.
Ah, yes, the hash.
She tries to trick Cardan into a marriage guess with her or her daughter using a marvelous cloth woven from spider silk and nightmares. Pretty creepy.
Very fairy.
But Jude's quick thinking averts the trap, saving Cardan, despite his rather condescending comment that it amuses her to keep me out of trouble. What does this incident reveal about the unique threats present in this world and Jude's role within them?
This encounter really highlights the constant vigilance required in a world where magic isn't just, enchantment, but a direct weapon of political and personal manipulation.
Right.
Jude's ability to recognize and disarm such a subtle magical trap, even when disguised as a gift, shows that intelligence and quick wits can be just as potent as brute force.
So it's not all about fighting.
Not at all. It's a reminder that true leadership often demands foresight and a deep understanding of the hidden dangers.
And the external threats just keep escalating. Queen Orla of the Undersea is ambitious, seeking to break her treaty with the land.
A major power play.
Her envoys deliver these chilling threats like, the sea needs a bridegroom, the land needs a bride, cleave together lest you face the rising tide. Her daughter, Nakasia, is the intended bride, and she herself tries to deal with Cardan, even launching a crossbow attack motivated by jealousy. Apparently she said, I only meant to kill the girl he was with.
Oof. Jealousy is a powerful motivator.
This isn't just a political threat then, is it?
No, it's far more complex. Orlaw represents a clear geopolitical danger, a rival power seeking to exploit weakness.
But not Kasia.
Nicasia adds this volatile layer of personal vendetta and raw emotion. It's a powerful illustration of how quickly individual jealousies and slights can escalate into matters of state,
Yeah.
and how seemingly personal actions can unravel carefully constructed peace treaties. It emphasizes that in high-stakes environments like this, the personal is always political.
Another key player in this intricate web is Balakin, Cardan's cruel older brother, imprisoned in the Tower of Forgetting.
Always lurking.
He constantly attempts to flatter Cardan into some kind of bargain. Jude visits him, remembering his cruel nature, specifically the slap he delivers to her.
Yeah, that moment is telling.
Her internal resolve, though, pride is for knights, not for spies, allows her to endure it. We also learn he's allied with Orlaw, exchanging shells and shark teeth as messages.
The secret communication.
What does Balakin's continued influence tell us about dealing with internal threats?
Well, Balakin embodies that persistent threat from within. His imprisonment doesn't neutralize him. It merely shifts his methods to manipulation and secret alliances.
So he's still dangerous.
Absolutely. His survival, even in confinement, reveals that true power players, especially those with royal blood and a capacity for cruelty, can remain dangerous regardless of their physical circumstances.
And Jude's thought.
And Jude's internal thought, pride is for knights, not for spies, is such a critical insight into her character development. She's learning that emotional restraint is a tactical necessity when you're playing the long game of power.
Jude isn't without her own resources, thankfully. She relies on the Court of Shadows.
Her spy network.
Yeah, comprising the Roach, the Bomb, and the Ghost. Their stated purpose is to protect the person and office of the High King.
Key allies. For a time.
They each have unique skills: pickpocketing, concocting potions, silent movement. However, their oath of loyalty is to the king, not to Jude, which proves to be, well, a significant complication later.
A crucial distinction.
What does this network reveal about the nature of information and loyalty in this court?
The Court of Shadows underscores that power isn't just about armies and decrees. It's profoundly about intelligence and influence behind the scenes. This network is Jude's eyes and ears.
But that oath.
But that subtle distinction in their oath of loyalty to the office of the king, not the person of Jude, is a crucial vulnerability. It highlights the precariousness of proxy power.
Right.
And the inherent risk in building a team whose ultimate allegiance might shift when personal loyalties clash with institutional ones.
And then there's Maddox, Jude's stepfather, whose ambition never truly wanes, does it?
Never. His primary goal remains putting Oak on the throne.
Even after Jude betrayed him to put Cardan there instead.
Exactly. He continues to scheme, even willing to use Oak as bait to counter Orlaw, stating that a strategist must sometimes risk others, even those we love.
Chilling.
It is. How does Madoc's enduring ambition and ruthless pragmatism reflect on the long game of power?
Well, Maddox is the master strategist, isn't he? Playing a long game where personal affection takes a clear backseat to political objectives.
Absolutely.
His continued scheming, despite Jude's actions, emphasizes the enduring nature of deep-seated political goals.
And that statement about risking loved ones.
It reveals the ruthless logic that underpins his worldview. That truly effective strategists must sometimes make choices that seem morally reprehensible for the greater strategic good.
It forces you to question the lengths people will go to for their version of dominion.
Finally, in this rogues gallery, we have Locke, Taryn's betrothed and the master of revels.
Locke, the
Right.
agent of chaos.
He craves dramatic experiences and sees parties as a game of strategy played at speed, specifically to create conflict.
Not just fun and games for him.
Definitely not. This culminates in the humiliating Queen of Mirth jest at the Hunter's Moon Revel, where Jude is pushed.
Locke introduces this distinctly insidious form of danger, one that's less about overt power struggles and much more about social manipulation and psychological warfare.
So attacking her reputation, her confidence.
Precisely.
Mm.
His revels are not just entertainment. They are arenas for public humiliation and shifting social dynamics, specifically designed to create conflict and chaos. Jude's experience as the Queen of Mirth is a deeply personal attack,
Yeah.
highlighting how even seemingly frivolous social events can be weaponized to undermine an opponent's standing and confidence.
Just when we think Jude has maybe got a handle on this intricate game of power, the sources reveal this series of betrayals that truly redefine her understanding of loyalty and trust. It's quite shocking, isn't it?
It really is a cascade of betrayals.
Let's turn our attention to these pivotal moments, starting with Jude's capture by the undersea. She experiences this harrowing abduction, forced to breathe water.
Terrible ordeal.
And under glamour, she's made to lie about Maddox's strategies and Cardan's character. She's incredibly vulnerable, acknowledging internally that she is almost broken. What does this profound vulnerability reveal about the limits of personal resilience in such a high-stakes environment?
This capture is a moment of profound vulnerability for Jude. It strips away her agency and forces her into this state of powerlessness.
Yeah.
It highlights that even the most cunning strategist is susceptible to brute force and magical coercion. The act of being glamored into lying about her allies directly impacts her ability to control the unfolding narrative.
Undermines everything she's built.
Exactly. It reveals that power, no matter how carefully constructed, is always subject to physical and psychological breaking points, and that even the strongest can be almost broken.
And it's right after this, when things seem bleakest, that Cardan's true nature begins to, unveil itself.
The big reveal.
The royal astrologer, Bavin, reveals Cardan's deep connection to Elfheim itself. Storms come in faster, colors are more vivid.
When he becomes drunk, his subjects become tipsy.
And most critically, when his blood falls, things grow, which explains the scattered white flowers Jude saw earlier.
Connects the dots.
He also reveals his one virtue. He is not killer, which affects his decisions regarding Balakin. What does this unexpected revelation tell us about true kingship in this world?
This is where Cardan really transcends his initial layabout persona and becomes something far more profound.
Right.
His inherent, almost mystical connection to the land elevates him from a mere puppet to a living embodiment of Faerie's power. It's almost ironic, isn't it?
How so?
The supposed lazy king possesses this fundamental virtue, not a killer, that Jude, for all her ruthlessness, does not possess, or at least struggles with.
That's a great point.
This redefines what constitutes power. It can be innate, connected to the very fabric of the world, and reside in unexpected virtues rather than just overt displays of might.
And Cardan shows this power when defending Jude, even though they've been so much at odds.
Yeah, that moment is stunning.
During Orla's demands, he unexpectedly states, "Jude is mine to punish or not as I see fit,"
Asserting his authority.
Then he displays this powerful control over the sea by making sand rise from the water, culminating in the creation of a new island in Seer Isle of Ash.
Wow.
It's an absolutely shocking display of latent power.
This is such a pivotal moment that fundamentally shifts our understanding of Cardan. His declaration of possession over Jude, while it sounds potentially demeaning.
It's actually protective.
In context, yes.
Yeah.
It's an assertion of his authority and protection. And his creation of Vinsir is this profound display of his innate connection to Elfheim, proving that his earlier passivity was perhaps a deliberate choice, not a lack of power. A powerful lesson that true capability can remain hidden until the precise moment it is needed, making its revelation all the more impactful.
But just when Jude might feel a glimmer of security, maybe even connection, she faces that triple betrayal from those closest to her.
The ground falls out from under her.
First, Locke is revealed as the leader of the riders who attacked Jude before the wedding. The Queen of Mirth prank and the earlier assault were personal vendettas against her for threatening his relationship with Taryn. He even admits making you Queen of Mirth was a jest.
Just pure malice.
What does Locke's personal betrayal reveal about the motivations that can destabilize even the most powerful individuals?
Locke's betrayal is particularly insidious because it's rooted in personal malice and this desire for dramatic conflict, not grand strategy.
Right, not political ambition.
No. It's a chilling reminder that in any environment of power, personal grievances can fuel devastating actions. It shows how even those without direct political ambition can be incredibly dangerous when driven by petty jealousy or a perverse desire to simply create conflict.
Then, the ghost, a member of Jude's own Court of Shadows, betrays her,
Unthinkable.
destroying their entrance with explosives, causing injury to other spies like Niniel, who is badly burned.
This is just a devastating blow to Jude's carefully built network. The betrayal from within, by someone sworn to protect the High King.
It exposes the fragility of loyalty.
Completely. Especially when allegiances are not perfectly aligned. It teaches us that even the most trusted inner circles can harbor unforeseen cracks, and that the greatest vulnerabilities often come from those you believe are on your side.
And finally, the most painful betrayal, surely, comes from her twin sister, Taryn.
The ultimate cut.
Jude discovers that Taryn posed as you and got a copy of your key to gain access to Jude's rooms, and later joined Maddox in his scheme against Jude and Cardan.
Wow. How does Taryn's complicity underscore the complex and often painful nature of family ties in a world driven by power?
Well, Taryn's complicity is perhaps the most shocking and emotionally impactful betrayal for Jude, highlighting the deep fault lines within their own family.
It reveals how personal relationships, even between twins, can be sacrificed for ambition or perhaps self-preservation.
Mm-hmm. It's a powerful, painful lesson that in the pursuit of power, even blood ties are not immune to manipulation and strategic alliances.
And that sometimes the deepest cuts come from those closest to you.
Absolutely.
Amidst these betrayals, Jude faces this harrowing mission to obtain the antidote for Cardan, forced by Billiken to act well glamored.
Right. She's weakened but has to act.
Despite her weakness, she duels Billiken, winning decisively and brutally. As Maddox taught her, the point of a fight is not to have a good fight, it's to win.
She really takes that lesson to heart here.
What does this particular fight tell us about Jude's transformation?
This duel marks Jude's full, ruthless embrace of Maddox's teachings. Despite her physical and emotional vulnerability, she prioritizes victory above all else, showcasing a cunning and brutal effectiveness.
That's a defining moment.
It really is. It solidifies her transformation into a truly formidable, albeit, morally ambiguous strategist. She's learned to abandon any romanticized notions of combat and simply survive, no matter the cost. Then, a truly shocking proposal comes out of nowhere. Cardan asks Jude to marry me, become the Queen of Elfham.
Didn't see that coming the first time.
His reasoning is fascinating to release himself from Jude's vow of obedience, saying, "You are free of your vow of obedience for now and for always."
And for Jude to gain her own undisputed power.
Right. You wouldn't need my obedience. You could issue all your own orders. The land itself reacts when he speaks his vow. The sources say the branches begin to bud.
Wow.
This feels like much more than just a simple marriage proposal, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This proposal is a masterstroke of political strategy, far more than romance, at least initially.
How so?
Cardan recognizes the limitations of his bound kingship and offers a solution that simultaneously liberates him and entrenches Jude's power in a way her seneschal role never could.
And the land reacting.
The land's profound reaction when he speaks his vow, the budding branches, underscores the deep mystical legitimacy of his kingship and the profound implications of their union. It shows a profound understanding of how to consolidate power not just through force, but through strategic alliances that reshape the very fabric of the realm.
But the price of rule is always steep, isn't it?
Always.
Cardan decides to sacrifice Billiken by appointing him as his ambassador, effectively dooming him,
The cold move.
and forces Nicasia to accept the role in Elfham. He asserts, "I will not be led by the sea. As the High King I must lead, but I must also be just."
Defining his kingship.
Then, in a public act of justice for Billiken's murder, he seemingly condemns Jude, leading to her exile back to the mortal world.
The final twist of the knife. Or is it?
What does this final series of decisions reveal about Cardan's leadership and the true cost of wielding ultimate authority?
This is such a complex and calculated display of Cardan's emerging leadership. He asserts his authority over the undersea by both sacrificing his brother, a profound act of political ruthlessness, and forcing Nicasia into a new role.
And exiling Jude.
The public condemnation of Jude, while it seems like a betrayal, can be read as a pragmatic move to establish his impartiality and strength as High King, even at the cost of his newly wedded queen's immediate presence.
For appearances. For strategy.
Possibly both. It speaks volumes about the brutal pragmatism required to truly lead, demonstrating that leaders must sometimes make choices that appear cruel for the sake of long-term stability and perceived justice.
So Jude finds herself back in the mortal world with Vivian Oak. The sources say she is exhausted, my eyes red, but still training Oak.
Back where she started, but fundamentally changed.
And we're left with these lingering questions. The political tensions with the Undersea are unresolved. Maddox's ambition to put Oak on the throne continues. What do these unresolved elements tell us about the nature of power struggles?
Well, Jude's exile isn't really a defeat, is it? It feels more like a strategic pause, maybe a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
The lingering conflicts with the undersea in Madoc highlight a crucial truth about power. It is rarely a definitive victory or defeat, but rather a continuous, evolving game.
Always another move to make.
Exactly. The underlying threats persist, setting the stage for future battles, reminding us that the struggle for influence is an ongoing dance, not a finite war.
Her journey really highlights the immense weight of power, doesn't it? How it comes with these heavy costs and personal sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Our source material gives us Jude's own internal conflict captured so powerfully. If there's a limit to what I will let them do, if there is something that would make me fight back, even if it dooms me, if there is, that makes me a fool. But maybe if there isn't, that makes me a monster.
That's such a powerful quote. This profound internal struggle is the ultimate consequence of Jude's relentless pursuit of power. It's the moment she grapples with the ethical boundaries of her own actions, questioning whether her ruthlessness makes her a monster or simply a survivor.
And that's the heart of our deep dive, isn't it? The personal cost of absolute power.
Exactly. How much of yourself are you willing to compromise or even lose to achieve and maintain control?
So what does this all mean for us? Thinking about it now, we've seen Jude navigate this world where power is taken, not given, and where even a king's strength can be deceptively hidden beneath a facade. Her journey reminds us that in any position of influence, understanding motivations, anticipating betrayals, and even choosing when to break the rules are not just options, but often necessities.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, this deep dive really raises an important question for all of us. What defines true leadership when those lines between manipulation and necessity are constantly blurred? And what does it truly cost, personally, to wield immense power, especially when you start from a place of vulnerability? Consider what you might sacrifice or who you might become to achieve your own version of dominion.